I'm on a journey from fat to fit.
In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 of the lessons that I've learned. I'm halfway through my journey.
So join me to learn all the things you need to know to do your own journey or to help someone else along the way. You'll see all of my mistakes, all of my learnings, everything you need to know to get you on the right path right now. I'm 12 months in, 25 kilos down, about halfway to my target weight and about halfway to my goal of competing in an Ironman in Cairns 2024.
Please enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe, make sure you follow the rest of my journey, and I hope this helps you on your journey.
Let's get real for a second. You didn't click on this video because you've got something wrong with you. You clicked on this video because you know you've done something wrong. So let's dig into it. You're here, same place I was, because you either ate too much, didn't do enough exercise, or a combination of both. And the sooner you accept that it's you that's got you here, whether it's comfortable, nice or not, the sooner you can move past it and get yourself to a point where that's not the case anymore. So the first step, the most important step, is to take responsibility, accept that you're here, and be ready to do what it takes to make a change. Sounds easy, right?
I don't like to sugarcoat it. I was fat, I'm still fat. I'm halfway there to where I want to be, but I don't think there's anything, it's not, you can't deal with a problem until you admit it. And I think that's the first step in making change, is admitting that that's where you're at. And that's okay. It's not a life sentence. It's not the end of the world. It is simply a statement that you are obese, fat, overweight, whatever term you want to use, but don't sugarcoat it for yourself. It won't help you to think of yourself as big boned. Get to terms with the fact that you are what you are and that you're ready to take responsibility and take it to the next step and do something about it.
You have to set a target. Setting a target, one of the reasons I've failed in the past is my target is to lose weight. And that's really a shocking goal, okay, for many reasons. It's like setting a goal of I want to be rich with nothing else. It's never, it is not specific, measurable, or important enough for the brain to really want to activate on. So one of the reasons you want to set a goal is because it will help your brain to align your thoughts, your actions, everything else with achieving that goal. So it needs to mean something to you. It needs to be important. It needs to have some sort of thing that you can measure. You need to be able to know that you're getting closer, and you need to be able to know when you get there. It doesn't mean it's the end of your journey, but you need to give yourself a point to work towards. For me, mine is doing an Ironman. I know that's a big one. That's like high-end fitness, but you need to have some sort of target in mind, whether it's being able to run 5Ks, walk up some big hill, climb a mountain, do a trek, whatever it might be. Because for me, one of the things about this journey is that it can't just be a journey of weight loss, because there are plenty of unhealthy skinny people, and that's not what you want. You don't want to be unhealthy. That's the bottom line. You can be healthy and overweight, or you can be unhealthy and skinny. Part of the process needs to be making your whole body healthy. Now, you can't be healthy without exercising. If you have watched anything on YouTube by Peter Attia, he basically will tell you that the secret to a long life is exercise. And it doesn't have to be extreme like mine, doing an Ironman, but exercising on a regular basis makes the biggest difference in your physical health. Not your weight, not what you eat, exercise. So when you set your goals, when you set that exercise goal, because I don't like people setting a weight goal isn't the real end point. The end point is being healthy. The end point is increasing how long you're going to live, the quality of your life. That's the end point. So don't think about your goal in terms of weight loss. Don't think about it as being some vague thing. Find something that you can target. Find something that's find something that gives you purpose to move forward. It's very, very important. Understanding what your body needs to work properly. So this is a tricky one because whilst you don't need to be a doctor or a specialist or a nutritionist, you do need to have a rudimentary understanding of how your body works and what it needs. And there are lots of great sources out there to do this, from YouTube to books to, all kinds of stuff. So personally, I recommend the latest book by Peter Attia. Also, his video content on YouTube is really helpful, although he's a little bit too smart for me sometimes. I don't often understand what he's talking about when he's talking to another medical expert. And you don't have to know all the details. All you have to know is the fundamentals. It pays to educate yourself. We can't all be doctors and we can't all have, a nutritionist's level of knowledge, but you don't need to. You need to understand the basics. So take some time, do some learning, read some good books about nutrition, about how your body works, why things happen. Understanding, for instance, how fat cells work and why when you've been overweight for 10 years, it's harder to lose weight. It's not saying that you can't, but you need to understand. It helps your brain, helps me at least, understanding why it's hard. Why doesn't my body just lose weight like it did when I was in my 20s? I put on 5 kilos, I start running again, and hey presto, it's gone. It doesn't work like that when you're older, when you've been overweight for a long time, when you're insulin resistant, when you're pre-diabetic. All of those things play a part in how your body reacts. And so it really helps you mentally to understand those things at some level so that you don't become frustrated, you don't lose hope, lose faith. So yeah, educating yourself is a really important step. And I think, and not to a ridiculous level, just to enough so that you understand the fundamental things. And I think it goes a long way to helping you get over those days where the scales aren't helping you, you feel crap, things aren't working, whatever. Just have to know that it's going to be a longer journey. For me, one of the biggest things about my level of knowledge, the more I learnt, the more I realized this is going to take some time. I'm not going to, all those dreams I had of, losing all my weight in a few months were just crazy. So education helped me to understand that. Now I know, for me, this is going to be like an 18-month journey to get where I want to get. And that's okay. I understand why, understand how that happened. And you know what? It took me 10 years to put it on. If it takes me 18 months to get rid of it and be healthy, then that's a fair deal. At least it's not going to take me 10 years. I think of it as taking a personal inventory of your body. It's probably a bit detached, but in this I mean you need to get blood tests, you need to have a medical, you need to talk to a nutritionist, you need to figure out how your body's working. It's just like diagnosing a vehicle. You can't figure out you can't fix a vehicle until you know what's not working. So for me, I went and had blood tests and a whole series of blood tests to work out whether there were any deficiencies. And I had deficiencies, so it tells you a lot of stuff, and you're best to talk to your doctor and nutritionist about the actual results. But for me, as an example, I was pre-diabetic, so my insulin resistance was, I think, 13 or something. I was low in potassium and low in iodine, and I needed to supplement things like vitamin D and a few other things. So it's really hard to make your body work better through exercise and eating better food if you already have deficiencies, and there are things that you can easily rectify with some supplements. So for me, making sure that you can't build a strong physical platform on something that's got issues already. So go and get those issues checked. You might be lucky, you might have nothing that you're deficient in, everything might be working perfectly and you're ready to go. Excellent. But at least you know. And if you find something that you need to supplement for, then that's great. You can go and get the supplements, have them every day, and again, you're ready to go. This is a good step, I think, because it takes away one of the things that you'll feel at some point through the process is that you'll be unsure of why you're not losing weight. Why is this not happening? Why is that not? And your brain will start to make up reasons why. Oh, maybe I'm deficient in something. Maybe this is happening. Maybe that's happening. This helps you to take that unknown piece out of the puzzle. You'll find all the things that aren't working right and do something about them. And that way, there's no other crutch for you to lean on. You know that you've got all those things right, and you know that moving forward, they're not going to hold you back in your journey to get where you want to go. So we've taken responsibility. Step one is taking responsibility and admitting the truth of your situation. Step 5 is admitting to yourself and someone else how you got here. Like, what did you do? Where did you go wrong? You can't fix a problem until you understand how it's happened in the first place. And if you've got to the point where I have and where you are, you need to fix a problem. Let's not pretend that we're here because we need to fix a problem. So for me, I got really honest with my wife. Doesn't matter who the person is. I don't think, but you need to have a conversation. You need to talk about. It's like a therapy session. You need to admit these things, not just to yourself, but to someone else, to make it real. Also, to have some accountability. We can easily lie to ourselves. A big part of this process is being accountable, and it's easier to be accountable when you've got someone you can trust and relate to and talk to who is helping to keep you accountable. But you've got to leave the blame game behind. It's not about blaming yourself or kicking yourself or anything like that. It's about looking objectively at what's happened, how you got where you are. Did you overeat? Were you eating the wrong things? Did you just eat junk food? Did you never do any exercise? You need to address and be honest about how it's happened before you can make it a real change. You can't pretend that it was an accident and, just kind of happened. It didn't. You did something to make it happen, and you need to own that. Not blame yourself, but own it. And I think the sharing it with someone else, I went all out and shared it on YouTube, which is a whole other level of accountability, but you don't have to go that far. You just need to share it with somebody who you feel safe sharing it with and who will be honest with you. You don't need someone to make you feel better. You need someone to listen to you and allow you to be honest and truthful with yourself. One of the biggest hurdles you'll face is your own self-talk, your inner voice, your conscience, your subconscious, whatever you want to call it, that little voice that talks to you in your head. We all have it. We all have been helped or hindered by that voice in our lives. And obviously I can't speak for everybody. I know what that little voice says in my head, and it wants to make my life easy. It wants me to lay around, relax, not worry. Don't need to think about any of that stuff. You can worry about being overweight tomorrow. Life will be fine. You'll be okay. No need to concern yourself. There's no other way to think of it as that inner voice, that kind of talk is your enemy. It's not here to help you. It's not here to make you feel better about being overweight. It is literally holding you back. And you need to be able to be honest with yourself about that subconscious conversation. That self-talk that you have is really holding you back. It's never helping you, and you need to learn how to change it. You can change it. It's not hard.
I use mantras a lot in my life, mostly to help reinforce the way that I want my brain to think. So, money comes easily and frequently. I grew up thinking money was hard to come by and that it was difficult to get, and all of those things that subconsciously you keep repeating to yourself. What I decided to do was change that thinking. Money comes easily and frequently. So same thing can be done with all kinds of different things. Just make up your own little mantra. I love and approve of myself. If you have self-doubts, if you're not sure, there are hundreds of them. You can look them up, you can make your own. It doesn't matter. If you put that on repeat, say it out loud, say it in front of the mirror, it will imprint on your brain and change the way that you think about whatever it is that you're trying to change. So make sure you use those. They're really helpful in the restructuring the way that you think about different things. Very, very helpful.
When you've got all the results back from your blood tests and your tests with your doctor and all of that sort of stuff, make sure that you implement the supplements that you need. Whatever extra things you need to put in your diet or in form of a supplement, make sure that you take them. Program your day around making sure you have that, because it could be the difference between getting where you want to go and not getting there. Some things in our body, I'm no expert in this space, but I have watched a lot of people talk about it and talk to my nutritionist. There are some things that can really make it hard for you to lose weight. And if you don't have those things working in your benefit in your body, then life gets harder. And we all know this is a hard enough journey already. So make sure that when you know what's missing out of your body, that you go and get those supplements and put them in and make sure that you keep doing it. Go back later on and find out if you need to keep taking them, but don't start feeling better and then stop. Keep doing it until you're told that you don't need them anymore. It's a really simple one, but I feel like it needs to be said because a lot of people don't follow through on these things, and it can have much more of an effect than you might ever realize. Exercise for change. Step 2 of building your physical base. After you've worked out if there's anything going wrong, or if you've got any issues or supplement needs or anything like that, the second part of building that physical base is getting exercise. So now this can be in a whole range of different ways, but the bottom line is you have to move. We're designed to move. That's how we're built. We're not built to sit around, as much as that's enjoyable, and we all love to watch a good TV show. We're not designed to sit on our ass. We are designed to move. And so your body requires that. It needs it for digestion. It needs it to function properly. Like a lot of your organs need you moving to work better or as well as they can. How you go about achieving this is really a very personal thing. You can go and get a trainer. I've now moved on to having a personal trainer design my program as well. So, but for the first period of this process, I just did it myself. I, looked at information, figured out what I needed, and did it. So there's no right or wrong here. Get help if you need it. If you feel like you know what you need to do, then just start moving. It can be as simple as just a 30-minute walk every day, or you can go crazy like me and sign up for an Ironman. Whatever you choose to do, movement is required to get healthy and fit, and there's no way around it. The best thing you can do is start to enjoy it. A lot of people look at it as a really negative thing when you're overweight because it's hard, and I get that. The truth is that you need to start loving exercise, otherwise you'll always struggle with it. And you can learn to love exercise. Believe me, you really can. So start working on that mental approach to exercise as well. Don't think of it as the dreaded exercise. Think of it as a great thing that's going to help you live longer and have a much better life. Now we get to talk about the fun part, your diet. I don't even like the word, but you need to address the way that you eat, because it's part of how you got here. And there are three main parts to this. It could constitute its own whole video, but we're going to do it in a short version here. First of all, check your portion size. I have no doubt that everyone who watches this who is overweight is having far too bigger portions. And I can put my hand up and say I'm one of those people. Over time, I've managed to bring my portion size down, and it makes a huge difference. It's shocking how little food we actually need to live. Now, for me, doing an Ironman and doing the 15 hours of training a week or whatever, I still eat a fair amount of food because I need fuel for my body. But a regular person who's doing 30 minutes a day of walking, you need almost no food intake to sustain your body. So as much as it's nice to go to a restaurant and have the massive steak and vegetables and chips or whatever, you simply need about an eighth of that to survive. So program that into your brain. I know it's a hard one because everywhere you go, everything's a supersize, but you really need to make sure that you understand you only need a small amount. The second thing is what you put in you. You need to, to simplify things, you need to avoid some stuff. You need to avoid sugar. Sugar is your enemy. It's the only way to think of it. It is your enemy. You will never learn to manage your body and your food and all of that sort of stuff if you can't control the sugar intake. For me, I still have some carbohydrates because I need them for training, but for the most part, sugar-based things are just not in my diet at all. So the only sugars I get are ones that my body converts from carbohydrates. And as hard as it might be, you need to do it. Sugar is everybody's enemy. It doesn't do anything good for you, and you can live completely without it. There is absolutely no dietary requirement for it. So learn how to get rid of that one. And the third one is change your conversation about food. Learn to love healthy food. Learn to love salads. Learn to love vegetables. Again, it comes back to that self-conscious talking. If you keep saying, oh God, I'm having another salad. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I don't like that. How much harder is that going to make it? Learn to love it. Learn to enjoy eating healthy. Learn to enjoy feeling good after you eat instead of feeling like someone stuffed you like a turkey. it is actually nice.
Please understand that I'm not perfect at this. In fact, this message can go for all of these steps. Yeah, I am not perfect at implementing all of this stuff that I've learned. Not every day, not every minute. Like, you will make mistakes. Things will be harder, easier, different. It's not about perfection. It's not about getting it right all the time. It's about moving forward more than backwards. That's what you need to keep in mind. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't put yourself down when you make a mistake, when you take a step in the wrong direction. Remember too that you have to learn all of this stuff. No one gets taught this sort of information, unfortunately. So learning involves making mistakes. Learning involves taking directions that you shouldn't. That's just learning. The only mistake you can make really is to not learn from your mistakes. So don't be too hard on yourself. We all make mistakes. This is a journey, not a magical cure. So take it easy and just keep learning.
The last but certainly not least important aspect of what I've learned is that you've got to keep track of things and you've got to keep reviewing. It's really, really important to know your metrics, because scales won't always tell you what you want to know. So one of the things I regret from my journey is that I didn't measure all my body parts when I started. I was just so keen to lose weight that I just was going to use that as my main metric, and that wasn't the smartest thing to do. So my recommendation to everybody is that you measure all your body parts, and if you can get on body composition scales, the ones you hold on to and it measures your composition, it doesn't matter if they're completely accurate, just use the same ones each time, and that will also give you another measure. There are times when your scales don't tell you what you want, and we all need motivation and we need something to keep us moving forward some days. So, seeing that you can use your clothes obviously as a rough measure when you've got to do up the belt more, or you've got those pants are too big or whatever, but it is nice to have something that you can look at each week and see that some change has happened, because it's not an easy journey always, and you need to, people are motivated by measurement. So, and the other thing you need to keep doing based around those sort of things is reviewing your progress, reviewing your training, what's working, what's not, what do I need to keep doing, how my blood's now, because this is going to be, for me it's an 18-month journey, so my body's going to change in that time. My need for different supplements might change in that time. So you have to, I don't know the right time frame for you, but for me, I'm just going to get checked up every 6 months to make sure everything's still ticking along the way that it should be, or that my supplement needs haven't changed, or whatever it might be. Because you need to, you're going to imagine that your body's going to change considerably in that time period, especially if you're going to lose a lot of weight. So it's important to keep a track of all those things. So track all your measurements and make sure you keep reviewing your health and your program. The other thing in this review thing is to not get bored. Like, we are, humans like change. So change up your program, change up what you're doing, even if you just change where you're walking. Always any little bit of extra to break the monotony is going to make a difference for you.
If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate your attention. I hope you've really enjoyed this. Just remember, this is just my journey and what I've learned along the way. If you want to see how it all turns out and how my journey ends, hopefully with the Ironman, then please subscribe. There's a new video comes out every week, me sharing all of my learnings and what's going on and how things are going. I really appreciate
everyone who follows me, and I love all your feedback. So have a great day. I hope this really helps you. And if you've got any questions, please reach out in the comments. Happy to help where I can. Live your best life and make sure you take the next right.